Dear students, welcome to my class. It's me, Rakesh Kumar Jha, and please welcome to Unacademy platform. This really gives you a kind of opportunity to interact with a lot of educators. Let's crack UPSC CSE exam with us. It is India's largest learning platform. We have daily live classes. We do have structured courses. We have also live tests and quizzes. We have unlimited access as well. For all these things, what you have to do, you have to just download an Academy learning app. It's me, Rakesh Kumar Jha. I am an MA in Political Science from Ramjas College, Delhi University, and PG Diploma in Journalism, MA also in Mass Communication. I have also participated in different talk shows as an expert and Akash Bani, New Delhi, Lok Sabha TV. I have also done a lot of workshops and seminars. So it's a little information about me. My profile link is Rakesh7ja8473 and this is Telegram link. Okay, so please join Unacademy. Okay, now I have to say about you Unacademy that prepare with your 100 top educators, and the comprehensive syllabus is also there, like polity, governance, IR, geography, science, technology, NCRT summary is there, history, optional courses, and art and culture, current affairs that I will be taking, Indian economy, practice strategy, answer writing courses. So these are the things which are very important for your UPSC CSE exam. We have also UPSC CSE subscription for different months, 1, 3, 6, and 12 months, and at the different rates also. We do have like plus course and iconic course. Please you go for this iconic course, it will really helpful for you. And we have also for 12 months and 24 months. If you go this, that will be very helpful for iconic course. My code is RJ01. Please you apply this RJ01 for having 10% discounts. Okay, so this is more information that I want to share, that live classes, test series, unlimited practice, structured schedule, personal coaches. Then we have daily mains practice, study planner, and personalized feedback also. So you can have all this facility. For all these things you have to apply RJ01. If you apply RJ01, then definitely you have 10% discount on all the subjects. There are so many things, like for 12 months this is the thing that you have to have this much amount, and for optional subscription that is there, so that you have to say, and you have to do the course as well. And no cost EMI available on 6 months above subscription plan. These all things are very important for you, so please you apply. And I think that if you apply these things, it will be very good for you. Next thing is that introductory offer that has been already expired now. We have also dedicated focus on optional subjects like PSIR. I am taking this one, and a lot of courses that are available here. Okay, so now all these things that you have to know from Unacademy platform. It's me, Rakesh Kumar Jha. I have done a lot of course on the live platform, so please join, and all these things you can understand in a very nitty-gritty way. Now I am going to discuss about optional subject. The first one, the political theory and Indian politics. It is very important. Part A, the political theory and thinkers. Rakesh Kumar Jha, and I am civil services coach motivational speaker. Okay, dear students, so let's have this thing, and I hope that if you understand this nitty-gritty, you will definitely understand the things, because political science is a subject that we have to also understand the syllabus as well. Now I am going to discuss every nitty-gritty in a very rightful manner. The first thing that I am going to talk, table of content, because this table of content matters a lot. This is a complete table of content of PSIR optional subject paper 1 as per the UPSC pattern. We will discuss it in various lecture, right? Because you know that you have to also understand what are the topics that you have to know. Part 1, political theory and Indian politics. It is very important. The first thing, the political theory, like meaning and approaches. This is very much important. Next one is that concept of power. First of all is that you have to know the political theory, what is the meaning and what are the approaches. Concept of power, hegemony, ideology, and legitimacy. This is equally very important. Third is that theories of state, like the liberal theory, and the next one is that theories of the state, neoliberal. theories of the state, Marxist. So these are the approaches that we have to also understand regarding the theories of a state. And then theories of the state, also the pluralist. What is the plural theory that you have to also understand? Next one is that seventh number is that theories of the state post-colonial. So this is also very important. Next, I have said you that theories of the state, feminist. These are the approaches that you have to read in all these subjects and in all these papers, I mean. Next is the justice. What is justice? Like conceptions of justice, with a special reference to Rawls' theory of justice and its communitarian critique. Then equality. What is the equality that we have to also talk, like social, political, economic relationship between equality and freedom, affirmative action, that we have to also understand. Next is the rights. What is the meaning and theories, different kinds of rights, concepts of human rights. So these are all things that you have to also understand. So I think that these topics, why I am narrating this topic, because I understand that these topics are very much very much important, and these all topics you have to do all the time. It is very important topic for you, because suppose you have taken political science, so you must know the each and every keywords, because I student I can say you that understanding the topic is very much important. Most of the times that a student don't understand the topics and they just simply read out. So there is no matter. First of all, you have to know the basics. The basics means that what you have to understand, what you have to know the things and all, because if you don't know the basics, like what is justice, what is equality, what is right, what is the, I mean to say that some of the students who have done already graduations and post graduation in the subject, then definitely they have little bit extra advantage. But at the same time, who have just you finished, or who have not having the background of political science, they can also have such type of things. So I feel that you have to understand all the nitty-gritty, and definitely it will help you in the making of the process, in the making of understanding all these things. So I feel that you have to do these things in a very nitty-gritty way. Now the next is that it's a like the Western democracy, the classical and contemporary theories is also very important. The political ideologies. What is the political ideologies that you have to understand? The political ideologies like socialism, political ideologies, fascism. So these all idealism like liberalism, socialism, then fascism, Gandhism, feminism. So these are the ideologies that you have to also understand. And then next is that Indian political thought, that is Dharma Shastra is there, then Arthashastra by Kautilya is there, then Buddhist tradition is there, Sir Syed Ahmed Khan is there, and Sri Aurobindo's theory. So these are the things that you have to understand all these nitty-gritty theories in a very, very rightful manner. So I feel that you have to understand these all in particular things, and I hope that if you do all these things, then definitely you would be in the comfortable positions of dealing, because you see varieties of topics are there. But the beauty of political science is that if you understand, and you can see that all things are interrelated, and particularly one topic, and then there are further divided in the different subtopics. So I mean to say that different subtopics means what, that these subtopics you have to study in a very proper and rightful manner. Why I am telling you that, I can see you that these are the important aspects and the different paradigms of the political science. So this political science you have to understand. So this is what I have to make you understand. Next is that they then if the Indian political thought, because the political thought, there are a lot of like thinkers you have to study, particularly like the Gandhi is there, Ambedkar there, M.N. Roy. So these thinkers, all these are no Indian thinkers that you have to understand. And then you have to go for Western political thought. Definitely Western political thoughts are very important. It's a very big list here out there that you have to understand. Like suppose the Plato is there, then Aristotle, then Machiavelli, Hobbes, Locke. So these all thoughts you have to study in a very rightful manner. So let's say Plato, Aristotle, Machiavelli is there, then Hobbes is there, then John Locke, then John S. Mill, that you have to also understand. The Karl Marx is there, Antonio Gramsci is there, that you have to also, Hannah Arendt in there. So these all things you have to study about the Western political thought, and definitely these are the basic pillars of the political science. Until unless you don't know the philosophy of the people, particularly the philosophers who have really started this political science and established the political science as a subject, as a school of thought, then it is not feasible to understand all these things. So you have to have this sort of syllabus, we have to have all these things before you. I will tell you that while you're studying, you should have your all syllabus in front of you, so that you can study one by one very serious notes, and that's the beautiful way to understand these things. And I hope that if you do all these things in a very nitty-gritty way, then definitely you would be enjoying the journey of political science learning. While you study, you must learn, you must enjoy, because political science is a subject that is all the things are happening around you, and you are already the part of the political science in a sense, because you are the part of society, and in the society you know that there are lots of things are happening around us, that you have to know in a very very proper way. So this is what you have to understand. So I feel that if you understand this nitty gritty, then definitely it would help you, it would help you in a sense that definitely you will be better position. Okay, next is that the, so this way I have discussed the all things, that all topics, subtopics, particularly political theory and Indian politics. That is the part 1. Now the next one is that political theory, meaning and approaches. What is this is meaning and approaches, that you have to also understand concepts of political theory. Then suppose I am talking about the meaning and approaches. The first one, you have to discuss about the concept of political theory. So what is the concept of political theory? Political theory is basically a set of specified relationships encompassing the political matters that focus on organized inquiry, sometimes describe, explain, and predict political events and behaviors. So that you have to also understand, and I feel that political theory is also something like that. It really have the matters that is describe, explain, and different events and behaviors. Political theory considered as the basis branch of the political science, which attempt to arrive at the generalization, inferences, or conclusions to be drawn from the data gathered by other specialists, not only in political science but throughout the whole range of human knowledge and experience. So this is what you have to understand. Definitely, what is the political theory? If I talk about, then these all things that we have to discuss, that political theory is a set of rules, set of things, set of ideologies, and it combines. When you go in the larger sense, then you can see that there are a lot of things are around this political theory, and that covers the things. It is not about only the theory, but it is also the practice that talks about. So the values, the political values, these are the things that you have to also understand. So I feel that if you understand this nitty gritty, then definitely it will help you, and it will not only help you, rather it will enhance your knowledge. Now next is that from ancient Greece, let's see about the political theory up to the present level. The history of political theory has dealt with the fundamental and perennial ideas of political science. Political theory also reflects upon political phenomena and processes as well. you know you have your institutions out there, you have your actual political behavior. By subjecting to it the philosophical or ethical criterion is there, the most dominant political theories realize all three goals, such as describe, explain, and predict. The theories are the result of thoughts and research of many scholars and exponents of political science. Thinkers on the subject formulate definitions of various political concepts and establish theories. D.K. Sharma. This is what you have to understand. So I feel that if you know that how the political science started in the Greece, how Kautilya had a theory and everything, that all you have to understand. So I think that is all topics you must understand in a very nitty gritty way, and I hope that if you understand this topic, only then you can understand the political science. Okay, so for political theory you can also consult the Savine book, the political theory. It is in English, it is very good. Then Opigawa book is also very good. It is also written in both languages, Hindi and English. So I think that any book you have to have a base book, so that you can understand the nitty gritty, and if you understand the nitty gritty, only then you can describe all these things. Okay, now next is that Germino described. Now Germino, he is a philosopher, so Germino described what he has described. Political theory is the most appropriate term to employ in designating that intellectual tradition which affirms the possibility of transcending the sphere of immediate practical concerns, and viewing men's societal existence from a critical perspective. This is what you have to also understand, that how the political theory is the most appropriate term, and how it is intellectual traditions which affirms the possibility of the sphere immediate practical concerns and viewing men's societal existence from a critical perspective. So that you have to also understand. So I feel that if you understand this nitty gritty, it will definitely help you. According to Sevine, I just told you that Sevine book is very important. So political theory is quite simply man's, it is a man's attempt to consciously understand and solve the problems of his group life and organization. So I think if you understand this thing, then definitely it will help you, and I hope that please understand this is, it will really help you. It is the disciplined investigations of political problems, not only to show that a political practice is, but also to show what it means. In showing what a practice means, or what it ought to mean, political theory can alter what is it. So these are the things, that these are the very different formulas, definitions, approaches about the political science that you have to also understand, and I hope it will definitely help you, dear students. So I feel that while you are dealing it, it will definitely help you. So I feel that please try to understand this nitty gritty, and I hope that if you understand these philosophies, these practices, this formula, then it will definitely help you. Now the next is that numerous eminent theorists explain the nature of political theories. Definitely there are a lot of eminent theorists, they have explained the political theories in a different terms and conditions. David Held is also a great philosopher. He also told that political theory is a network of concepts. Let us see the words. Political theory is a network of concepts and generalizations about political life, involving ideas, assumptions, and statements about the nature, purpose, and key features of the government, state, and society, and about the political capabilities of human beings. This is very true, that David Held's theory, that we have to also mention, that it is not all about the things and all. It also about talks about the concepts, generalizations is there, political life is there, and assumptions there, statements there. So these are the things that are very important. So I think that these all things, Sevine has described, what Sevine has said, so you have to write down, you have to pen down these things. What do you know? W.C. Coker explained political theories, that you have to also. So different kinds of theories that had been given by these people. When political governments and its forms and activities are studied not simply as facts to be described and compared and judged in reference to their immediate and temporary effects, but as a facts to be understood and expressed in the relation to the constant needs and desires and opinions of men, then we have political theory. So these are the things that you have to also study. So I hope that if you understand this nitty gritty, it will definitely help you. So David Held theory you have to understand, then W.C. Coker you have to understand. Besides, these things according to Sabine you have to write. So these are all things that you have to write in a very rightful manner. So I feel that whether it is according to Sabine, or whether it is David Held or W.C. Coker, so these all things you have to very much very much you have to narrate in all the theories. Now the next is that according to Andrew Hacker, what he said, political theory is a combination of a disinterested search for the principles of good state and good society on the one hand, and on the other hand, disinterested search of knowledge of political and social reality on the other. So the basic thing is that Andrew Hacker said that political theory is a combination of the disinterested search for the principles of good state and good society. At the same time, it is also that the social reality is there. So that Andrew Hacker said the same thing that George Catlin stated, that the political theory includes political science and political philosophy, while science refers to the phenomena of control in many forms over all the processes of whole social field. So this is what you have to understand about the George Catlin, that the political theory and everything is out there. So political science and political philosophy, while science refers to the phenomena of control in many forms over all the process of whose whole social field is there, it is also concerned with the end of final value when man asks what the national good is or what is good society. So these are all things that we have to understand. So I feel that everything is out there. So whether George Catlin's philosophy is there, whether it is Andrew Hacker is there, so you have to understand all this nitty gritty, and so that you can know the different paradigms of the political theory. Because one word, and that is political theory. What is the notion of political theory? What the philosophers have said. So suppose what the Sabine has said, what the Andrew Hacker has said, what the W.C. Cooker has said, what George Catlin has said. So all these philosophers have narrated and explained and talked about the political theory, so that you have to understand. So political theory is a kind of thing that is evolving, that has been shaped by the different thinkers and thoughts. So political theory you have to say in the totality, and political theory it depends upon the philosophy of the political science, also the society also. So on the one hand you have to see the theory perspective, on the other hand we have to see the practice perspective. So both things are there, so that you have to take care. And moreover you have to understand that while you are studying you should have a standard book, so that you can know these things and out there. Okay, so now I am going to discuss about all these things in a very nitty gritty. And now John Clementas, what John Clementas delineates the political theory in functional terms, said that the function of political theory has come to be restricted to the analysis and clarification of the vocabulary of politics and the critical examination, verification and justification of the concepts employed in political argument. So that we have to also understand. So I think that how John Clementas had described this is also very important, that you have to also understand. Next is that another theorist like Norman Berry defined that political theory is an eclectic subject which draws upon a variety of disciplines. There is no body of knowledge or method of analysis which can be classified as belonging exclusively the political theory. So there are Norman Berry is a very important thinker also. So these all things I have to say, from Sabine to Norman Berry we have to define political theory. So these all definitions I have discussed. Why? Because you can understand the different paradigms of the political theory. Now I am going to discuss about the approaches. What are the approaches of the political theory that you have to also mention? The first thing, dear students, that you have to student, that the study of political science, and in the process of search of political truth, certain procedure must be followed. These procedures are defined as approaches, methods, techniques, strategies. Approaches to study political science are grouped as traditional and modern approaches. This is what we have to also understand. So these approaches are also defined in a different format, different kinds of things that we have to also understand. So please try to make this a very important aspect that you have to understand, that whether it is approaches, whether it is methods, whether it is techniques or strategy, these all things are very important to know. So these are the approaches of political theory. So what are the approaches? Okay, approaches of political theory. Then definitely if you have to look at, like, the traditional approaches are there, the first one. Second, the modern approach is there, behavioral approach is there, and the decision making approach. So these are the approaches that you have to think, and these are the four approaches. And this is the graphics that I have to tell you also, that how Sukrat and all people out there, this graphic you have to also understand. So this is basically once you have to look at the subject, once you have to look at the topic, then this is the approach. So first of all we have defined the political theory, what is political theory. Then we have to go for the approaches. What are the approaches? Let's start one by one. The traditional approach, the first is the traditional approach that I am talking here. The traditional approaches are value based. What is the value? I ask you, dear student, what is the value that you have to also define? So it is the value. Value means what? That what you respect, what you feel, what you can call these approaches put emphasis on values more than facts. Advocates of these approaches believe that the study of political science cannot and should not be purely scientific. This is what you have to also understand. They stated that in social science, such as facts, values are closely related with each other. In politics, emphasis should not be on the facts but on the moral quality of political event. There are a huge number of traditional approaches such as philosophical, institutional, legal, and historical approaches. These are the approaches that are also coming under the approach that you have to also mention, that the philosophical approach comes under this, institutional comes under legal, and historical approaches. So these are the things that are very important, and I think that this is very important in a sense, because I feel that if you are going for all these approaches, you have to understand that what is traditional approaches, what are the things, what are the keywords. So then you have to write the philosophical, legal and historical approaches. So this is the right way to understand the traditional approaches. Okay, the next one is that characteristics of traditional approaches. Traditional approaches are largely normative and stressed on the value of politics. These are the characteristics that you have to understand. Emphasis is on the study of different political structures. Then traditional approaches made very little attempt to relate theory and research. These approaches believe that since facts and values are closely interlinked, studies in political science can never be scientific. So these are the traditional approaches that are mentioned here. But there are limitations of also traditional approaches. Rather, there are so many limitations of every approaches that you have to also understand. Next, I am going to discuss different types of the traditional approaches. What are the different types of traditional approach? This is very important for you. The first thing is that the philosophical approach, that is very important that you have to discuss. Then you have to go for historical approach. After historical approach, you have to see the institutional approach, and after institutional you have to go for the legal approach. So I told you that these are the approaches that I have just discussed about you, and this is the philosophical, institutional, legal. So this is a very important part, I had already told you. So please you concentrate on these approaches that are very important. So if you go by these approaches, then definitely. So one by one I am going to discuss. Let's have the philosophical approach. So it is a part of traditional approach, but this is the matter philosophical approach. Okay, this approach is considered as the oldest approach in the arena of political science. Very true that philosophically you have to look at the topic, you have to look at the thing. The development of this approach can be traced back to the times of the Greek philosophers like Plato, Aristotle. Leo Strauss was one of the main supporters of the philosophical approach. He considered that the philosophy is the quest for wisdom, and political philosophy is the attempt truly to know about the nature of political things and the right or good political order. So these are the things like the Plato and Aristotle also talks of philosophical approach. Besides Plato and Aristotle, Leo Strauss also talked about these things. So I think that you have to understand all these things in a very nitty and gritty way. So please try to understand, and I hope that you will definitely understand this thing. So I feel that the philosophical approach is very good, and Vernon van Dijk. So this is very observed that a philosophical analysis is an effort to clarify thought about the nature of the subject and about ends and means in studying it. Aim of this approach is to evolve the standard of right and wrong for the purpose of critical evaluation of existing institutions, laws and policies. That we have to also understand. This approach is based on the theoretical principles that the values cannot be separated from the study of politics. Therefore, its main concern is to judge what is good or bad in any political society. It is also mainly an ethical and normative study of politics, and thus idealistic also. So I feel that if you go by this thing, then definitely it will help you, and I hope definitely it will help you, because this is the thing that you have to know. Next is that it addresses the problems of the nature and functions of the state, citizenship, rights and duties, etc. So this is also very important. The supporters of this approach consider the political philosophy is strongly associated with the political beliefs. Therefore, they are of the opinion that the political scientist must have the knowledge of good life and good society. Political philosophy supports in the establishing a good political order. So this is also very important, and I think that if you understand this nitty-gritty, you will definitely understand the philosophical approach. Now the next is historical approach. What is historical approach? Theorists who developed this political approach focused on the historical factors like the age, place, and the situation in which it is evolved are taken into consideration. This approach is related to the history, and it emphasizes on the study of history of every political reality to analyze any situation. Political thinkers such as Machiavelli, Devine, Dunning consider that politics and history are closely related, and the study of politics always should have a historical standpoint. This we have to also understand. So I think that if you talk about the political thinkers like maybe Machiavelli, maybe Sabine and Dunning, consider everything is out there. If you understand these things, it will definitely help you. So I feel if you understand, it will definitely help you. So please try to have all these things, whether it is Machiavelli, it is Sabine and Dunning, it will definitely help you in the understanding of all this topic. Okay, dear students, right? Next is that what Sabine stated. What Sabine stated that political science should include all those subjects which have been discussed in the writing of different political thinkers from the time of Plato. It is the Sabine version that we have to also understand. Now, this approach strongly maintains belief that thinking or the dogma of every political thinker is formed by the surrounding environment. Furthermore, history provides details of the past as well as it also links it with the present events. History gives the chronological order of every political event and thereby helps in the future establishment of the events also. This is what you have to also understand. So I feel that if you write all these points, then definitely your answer would be very perfect. So this is about the Sabine and the dogmas, history, everything is out there. Next is that therefore without studying the past political events, institutions and political environment, it would be erroneous to analyze the present political events. But critics of the historical approach is like designated that it is not possible to understand the idea of the past ages in terms of contemporary ideas and concept. This is what we have to also understand. So I feel that if you go by this, it will definitely help you. Now the next is that institutional approach. What is institutional approach? The first I have already discussed, the second I have also discussed, the third one, the institutional approach. This is a traditional and significant approach in studying the political science. This approach primarily deals with the the formal features of the government and politics, essentials, study of the political institutions and the structures as well. Therefore, the institutional approach is concerned with the study of the formal structures like legislature, executive, judiciary, political parties and interest group. So these are the things that you have to also mention in the institutional approach. And next, the supporters of this approach includes both ancient and modern political philosophers. Among the ancient thinkers, Aristotle had a significant role in shaping this approach, while the modern thinkers include James Bryce, Bentley, Walter, and then Begholt, Harold Lasky contributed to develop this approach. So this is all about the institutions, that how institution is being function, how this is going to happen, and I hope that if you understand this nitty-gritty, it will definitely help you. Last one is that the legal approach. What is the legal approach? This approach concerns that the state is fundamental organization for the formation and enforcement of laws Therefore, this approach is concerned with the legal process, legal bodies or institution, justice and independence of judiciary. Supporters of this approach are Cicero, then Jean Bodin, Thomas Hobbes, Jeremy Bentham, John Austin, Dicey, and Sir Henry Maine. So this is very important for understanding point of view, that how this legal approach is important, how this is going to be happen, and why, because it is all about the legal process, legal bodies, institutions. It is very important for democracy as well. The various traditions, approaches to the study of political science have been disapproved for being normative. That you have to also understand. These approaches were principled also as their concern went beyond how and why political events happen to what ought to happen. This is also very true. And in the later period, the modern approaches have made an attempt to make the study of political science more scientific and therefore emphasize pragmatism. All the things that you have to understand, and I hope that if you understand this nitty gritty, it will definitely help you. And I hope these are the important points that you should all the time remember. These are the approaches, that the historical, philosophical, then the traditional, then the legal, institutional, so that you all have to understand. Next is that after the traditional approach, I am going to discuss the modern approaches. This is equally important because modern approaches are also the part of your syllabus. So after studying politics with the help of traditional approaches, definitely the political thinkers started the necessity to study the politics from a new perspective. They have started thinking like this and all. So thus, to minimize the deficiencies of the traditional approaches, various new approaches have been advocated by the new political thinkers. These new approaches are regarded as the modern approaches to the study of political science. So I think that you have to also understand this nitty-gritty, and I hope that if you go by this, then definitely it will help you. The next is that modern approaches are fact-based approaches, like they lay emphasis on a factual study of political events and also try to arrive at scientific and definite conclusion. The aim of modern approaches is to also replace normativism with the empiricism. Therefore, modern approaches are marked by empirical investigations of relevant data. So this is what you have to also understand. So I hope that if you go by this data, it will definitely help you. Then what are the characteristics, what are the features of modern approaches, that you have to also discuss, because without this nothing can be possible. The first thing that you have to discuss is these approaches are basically students try to draw conclusion from the empirical data and also to go behind the study of political structures and its historical analysis. These approaches believe that the interdisciplinary study should be there. Interdisciplinary means the subjects from the history, geography, and biology, and everything can be interdisciplinary subject. And that's why the Riggs model is there, prismatic ecological model is there. So that have been taken from the environment. This is what you have to also take. The emphasis scientific methods of study, this is very important. An attempt to draw scientific conclusions in political science, it is also very important. So the modern approaches include sociological approach, psychological approach, economic approach, quantitative approach, and simultaneously approach. System approach is there, behavioral approach, and Marxian approach. So these all things are there that you have to also understand. So I hope that this is a very important topic, the modern approach. So these things you have to also understand. So please try to understand all the nitty-gritty, and I hope it will definitely make you a sense by knowing all these facts and figures. Now, behavioral approach. This is also very important because it is the modern approach also. Among the modern empirical approach, the behavioral approach is also to study political science grabbed notable place, because the behavior of the institutions, what are the behavior of the person, what are the behavior of the society. So it is all about the pragmatic and practical approach. So that we have to see, dear students, and I feel that if you understand this topic, only then you can do the justice with the topics as well. Most eminent exponents of this approach are David Heston, Robert Dahl, E.M. Kirtipatrick, NGO allow behavioral approach is a political theory which is the result of increasing attention given to the behavior of ordinary men. So this is what we have to discuss. So I feel that after behavioral approach, it is more scientific. Theorists like Rick Patrick stated that the traditional approach is accepted institutional as the basic unit of research. But behavioral approach consider the behavior of individual in political situations as the basis. So I think that it is very important to know, and if you understand these all topics, then definitely it will help you. This is about the behavioral approach. Now I am talking about the salient feature. What are the major features of the behavioralism, like that you have to also study. So David Restin has pointed out certain salient features of behavioralism which are regarded as the intellectual foundations. These are what? First of all, I am going to talk about regularities must be there. The second, verification there. Then the techniques you have to also adopt. Quantifications you have to go for. Values you have to understand. Systematization you have to do. Pure science is there. Integration. These are the parts of the salient features of the behavioralism. So I think if you understand this, then you have to know all this nitty-gritty. So next is that regularities. What is regularity that I am going to discuss? This approach believes that you have to have certain uniformities, political behavior, which can be expressed in the generalization theories. In a particular situation, the behaviors of the individuals may be more or less similar, but it should be like a political science, more scientific with some predictive value. It should be have the regularities values as well. Next one is that the verification. That verification you have to also understand. The behavioralists do not want to accept everything as granted. Therefore, they emphasize testing and verifying and everything. According to them, what cannot be verified is not scientific. It is also very true that the verification must be there. It should be also very scientific, and I hope that if it is not scientific, then nothing can be possible. Next is that the techniques. What is techniques? The behavioralists put emphasis on the use of those research tools and methods which generate valid, reliable and comparative data. Researchers must make use of sophisticated tools like sample, surveys, mathematical models and the simulations, etc. These are the things that you have to also take care. So I think that without this, nothing can be possible. This is the techniques that you have to also understood. Quantification. After collecting data, the researchers should measure the quantify those data, whether the data are variant and relevant or not. Next is the values. Values you have to also take. The behavioralists also have to have heavy emphasis on the separation of facts from the values. They believe that do objective research on one has to value free. It means that the researcher should not have any preconceived notion or a biased views. That any researcher should not have that kind of notions or any kinds of biased view. It is also very important. So this is the values that you have to also understand. So I feel that these are things that are very relevant. Then systemization. What is systemization? According to the behaviorist, research in political science also must be systematic. Theory and research should go together. It is also very important. Then the pure science. Pure science is also very important. Another characteristics of the behavioralism has been its aim to make the political science a pure science. It is also to be believed. It believes that the study of political science should be verified by evidence. It is also very important to know. So these are the facts you have to also understand before starting the political science. Okay, the next is that the integration. Integration is also the part of modern political theories. According to the behavioralists, the political science should not be separated from various other social sciences like history, sociology and economics, etc. This approach believes that the political events are shaped by various other factors in the society, and therefore it would be wrong to separate political science from other disciplines. This is also very important fact. It is also recognized by the theorists that with the development of behavioralism, a new thinking and a new technique of study were evolved in the field of political science. So these things you have to also narrate under the integration part. The next is that what are the benefits of behavioral approaches are as follows. Definitely, there are a lot of benefits of behavioral approach because it is pragmatic. It is very true. These approaches make political science more scientific and brings closer to the day of the life of the individual. Very true. It is also had first explained human behavior into the field of political science, and that's why it is more important. This help also predicting the future political events, and this is the behavioral approach supported by different political thinkers. Scientific approach and predictable nature of political event. These are the benefits of behavioral approach of the political science that you have to also understand. Next is that despite of merits, behavioral approach has been criticized also because it is fascinating for scientism and all, and everything is there. Main criticism is level that this package the dependence on practices and methods, ignoring the subject matter. This is the one criticism. The supporters of this approach were wrong when they said that human beings have behaved in a similar ways in a similar circumstances. No, this approach also focuses on human behavior, but it is difficult to ask a study about human behavior and to get a definite result. So these are the things that you have to also mention because sometimes it is there, but at the same time you have to understand nitty-gritty. So next is that most of the political phenomenon are interdimensional. Therefore, it is always difficult to use scientific methods in the study of the political science. Furthermore, the scholar being a human being is not always value neutral as believed by the behaviorist. So remaining approaches we will discuss in the next class. It is me Rakesh Kumar Jha. My code is RJ01. You can have that much and you can have 10% discount. But besides, I have to discuss with you, dear students, that what I am telling you, that political science is a subject that is very interesting, and particularly when you come for the discussion part, when the things and out there, that will be very different and all. So basic thing is that when I am talking about, once again I am coming to the main topic that I have to discuss. I started from that part, that basic thing is that you have to go through all these topics. So whether very true that you have to understand political theory and Indian politics. If I talk about any political theory approaches, you have to understand concept there, liberal, neo-Marxism, pluralism. These are the thinkers that you have to also understand. If I talk about like M.K. Gandhi, so this is what you have to also study in the GS paper. So this is the beauty that how you can do, how you can relate. If I talk about B.R. Ambedkar, you know that you have to also study about the B.R. Ambedkar. So these are the few topics also that are very much relevant in your GS paper also. This is the beauty of political science. It will also help you in the essay paper. It will also help you in the writing skill, because when you open up your mind, when you think like in a different paradigm, then definitely you will understand all these nitty-gritty. So I think that please try to understand these things in a very rightful manner. I think that if you understand this, suppose Mahatma Gandhi thoughts, what they have, Mahatma Gandhi had said about the trusteeship, what Mahatma Gandhi talks about the insanity, what Mahatma Gandhi talks about Ram Raj, what Mahatma Gandhi talks about Hindu Swaraj. So there are different kinds of things that you can talk and you can write. In the same way, in the same fashion, if I go for like Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, so what B.R. Ambedkar had discussed about like the caste annihilation, he has also drafted the constitution, and that's why he is called as a father of constitution. The basic point is that all things can be possible if you have the interest, and these all thinkers, if you go by your syllabus is very beautiful because it will open up a lot of plethora of informations to your preparation, because these all informations are equally, once again I am reminding, to your GS paper, essay paper, interview things that will help you. It's a very interesting subject, but it is very interesting, the optional paper in the UPSC examination. You must opt it, and here I am as an educator, I will be there, and my telegram address is already there, Rakesh Jha. You can join, we can discuss the things. So I hope that by discussing, by joining, all these things will be definitely benefited. So please try to understand the nitty gritty, please try to understand all these things, and I hope that if you suppose if you are going to study MRI is also very important. Plato. So exactly you have to understand while I'm talking about the Plato. So Plato is basically he has written a book, Republic. So it started political science started from the Greece itself. So that we have to also understand. So all these things, if I talk about Gandhism, political, here I have mentioned the Gandhism. What is Gandhism? Gandhism is a philosophy. It is a kind of ideology. What ideology? Gandhi never talks about violence. Gandhi never talks about unjustified thing. He always talks about good manners, good means, good ends. It means what? He talks about the rightful things, the legal things, the very correct thing, the institutional things that you have to also talks and you have to understand. Then the liberalism. Liberalism is part of what? Liberalism is a part of society. When I talk about that, society should be given enough space, society should be given a kind of enough thing. This philosophy comes from which? Because everything has its own, you know, everything has its own say to say, and that's what the liberalism is. If I talk about socialism, that we have to also understand that what socialism talks about, what are the philosophies, who are the main thinkers. So primarily and basically, students, you have to understand that in every section you have to have different sort of the people, different sort of thinkers, that you have to understand 1 2 3 4, and you have to extract, you have to draw the potential out of this. And I hope that if you understand these all potentials, these all thinkers, then and you should also have one copy for yourself, because if you do not have the copy, then definitely it is going to be very tough, because you have to pinpoint the thinker's name, the theories, and then accordingly you can evolve the answer. Because evolving nature is an art that I also talk about. The writing skill, writing skill is very important for you, because writing skill, while you are going to write something, it means what? You are expressing your ideas, your thoughts, your knowledge, and the idea should be concurrent with the, it should be related to the question. Always mind it that while you are preparing in the class and making the notes, okay, you can make the maximum kinds of thing, maximum informations in your notebook or the writing. But as far as expression of your ideas and your answer and your knowledge, particularly in the examination hall, that must be incorporated with the question paper. Because why I am saying this incorporation, I think that the until unless you cannot relate the questions with the answer, it is very difficult to get the good marks. So you have to probably, and I also request all the students that you should practice one question. You can send to by telegram address. I will check 24/7. Telegram is open to us. You can send at the name of Rakesh Jha. So that is my telegram link. So you can send it and I can check your answer also. This is also extra advantage, extra benefit that you can have from our platform, that is Unacademy platform. So once again, like the next ideology, so what that feminism, what it talks, feminism talks about the women um, um, rights, because the men and women both are the part of society. Women also consist of almost 50% of the population. So the ideology started like this. They could not be um, they could not be taken away. So they have their rights, they have to say. So I think that feminism is also very important topic. Some of the times the questions are also coming. The same is the like dharma shastra is a very old political thought. So but it is also related to what? It is also related to a kinds of ethics kinds of thing. So that we have to also take care. The same way earth shastra, it is very interesting that the earth shastra was written by Kautilya, Vishnu Gupta. Basically Kautilya, that Chanakya. So whether it is Kautilya, Chanakya, Vishnu Gupta, there are three names of earth shastras written writer, that is the Kautilya. The Kautilya has written the Arthashastra. Basically, this is a book of the political philosophy, economic philosophy. Everything is out there, and it is something like that. How Machiavelli, here you have the Machiavelli Western political thought. So Machiavelli written a book, The Prince. The same thing, The Prince, what he had written, it was something like that. So this is what you have to understand. And since it is the Indian political thought, so you should also understand that what he wanted to say, he wanted to explain. He had also given Saptank theory. Saptank theory was also very important. So, like Dand, Mitra, and Kos, everything was there. So these all things are very important point of view, and I hope that if you go by the things in a very rightful manner, then definitely you can understand. And I hope that if you can understand these things, you can write, because some questions will come from the ideologies, some question will come from the thoughts, maybe Indian thought and the like Western thoughts. Some question will come from other part of the syllabus. Like these are the different parts. Like suppose this is the equality, justice, and all. We have to pinpoint that whether I am going to, and you have also choices there. So these are the things. But somehow I have to say that this is a very interesting field. This is a very interesting thing. When you start reading, you will enjoy. I'm pretty much sure, because all things are happening around you, and till now you are not supposed to know all these things. Like Buddhist tradition, Buddhist traditions are also good to know, that what are the tradition, what are the values. This is also very important. Next thing that I have to also say, like the Indian political thought, Sir Sayyid Ahmed Khan, he started, the audio Anglo Indian College, Oriental Anglo. But later, what happened? Aligarh Muslim University started. So this is also very important to know how he wanted to have the Muslims to have modern education. This is the basic things that you have to understand. Same thing if I talk about now Aristotle. If I talk about the Aristotle, he is the father of political science. He has written a lot of books, and that's what you have to understand. And he is also the father of botany. Also, he studied more than 158 constitutions at that time, which were available in those days. So these are the beautiful things that. And Machiavelli talks in his Prince about the fox and something like that. And he also talked about the king should be also very strong enough. And Hobbes talks about social contract theory. Hobbes, Locke, Rousseau. That you have to also understand that how Hobbes say that so there is a social contract in the society. On the society, or in the name of social contract, anyone respect the state machinery. Otherwise, the state would have been collapsed. This is what we have to, like the John Locke. John Locke is also champion of liberalism. He talks about liberalism. He talks about a lot of things that can be very useful for the people to live in a democratic society. So these are the things which are very much related. The same thing, the if I talk about the John S. Mill written a book on liberty. In liberty, he has said that you have the limited liberty. You have not like unlimited liberty. So you have to respect your liberty. You have to enjoy your liberty, but you have to also respect the others' liberty as well. What does it mean? It means that you have to understand all this nitty-gritty in a very rightful manner. I feel that if you know all these things, then definitely you will understand this very beautiful. Same thing if I talk about the Karl Marx, the class struggle is there. So Karl Marx is the champion of the class struggle theory. Karl Marx has written a lot of books, and I mean to say he had given a kind of like logical things. Logical things are that he talks about the state is a tool of, it's a tool of kind of suppression. He talks about like this and all. He has given a lot of logic also that we have to also take care. So there are a lot of things that these are the Marxist kinds of approach, like Hannah Arendt or and Gramsci. So this theory you have to read in the same line, and if you have to go by this, then this theory you have to say same line. If so suppose that this is the beauty that how you have to read. So first thing that the Plato and Aristotle you read like this. Then after the Western political theory you read separately this, and that after that the Hobbes, Locke, Rousseau, John Mill, that you read like this, and after this like the Western political thought, Karl Marx and Gramsci and Hannah Arendt, you read combinedly. This is what you have to understand. So this is what I mean to say. And dear students, you have to face in your ability. You have to see the things that how political science is going to help you, and you read the books. You read the Sabine book. It will definitely help you. you read other reference book also, textbook also, definitely it would help you. So once again, thank you very much, and I hope that you had to enjoy. If you have any queries, questions, anything, you can talk to me. Once again, thank you very much, and I hope that you must have enjoyed my talk, and any doubt is there, you can definitely put up the questions to us, because ultimately an educator has to also respond in a proper manner, I feel. So I have to all the time with you, and political science optional is very good, very lucrative, and I have already given the data in my previous lecture. I'll be continuing so many topics with the Unacademy platform, so please join Unacademy for uninterrupted teaching, good teaching, everything is out there. I feel that please try to understand this nitty gritty. Please try to feel the things that you are for. So this is the duty of an educator all the time. So once again, thank you very much. Wish you all the best, and I hope that any student who has just fresher, I mean to say that who is going to plan and all sort of thing, he or she must go for the political science. Why I have given this thing. So this is what I have to say, and I hope that you could have enjoyed this all nitty gritty. Everything is out there. So be safe, and thank you. Take care. Bye bye. See you.